Hello, good morning, everyone. We are ready to go, and we are already in a little uptrend. Possible that we're going to get a setup here right away. Hey, good morning, good morning. I am asking, where do I think SPY is going? It's definitely going to go to the right. I do believe that. Tom, good morning. What do I think of Tom's channel? Tom posted in the Discord a larger channel. Let me reference that. Yeah, something like all the way from the bottom, right? Yeah, I mean, it could be. It certainly could be. I have found that for this particular, trading intraday price action, I have found that doing channels across multiple days has not proved to be very helpful for me. Not saying that it's not legit. I just haven't found it to really work for me. So, I mean, just looking at the bars though, I mean, this for sure looks like could be legit, and maybe this is an overshoot of that channel. But I've just found it to be more helpful just to focus on today's action. So that's all I have to say about that. Morning, Jonathan. Hey, Tick Trader. Morning, Neil. Capital P. Good morning, Roberta. Good to see you. Alberta. Good to see you too. All right. We are in an uptrend. This is the first time that we're really testing the EMA right here. If we can get that pattern, get a nice bullish bar resting on the EMA like that, I like it for a long. Nasdaq is pretty much the same thing. First time that we're testing the EMA, we're below it right now, which is not good. We need to pop above, and then we might get a setup. So watching those pretty closely. Give me one sec. Boom, there you go, Alberta. You solved the problem there. Buy calls and puts, duh. Morning, Bruno. EMA is holding. We have 5 minutes till the open. And yeah, Netflix earnings last night looking pretty good. I'm gonna see if there's anything today. What's today? Wednesday. We don't have any major earnings. There's definitely a lot of companies. P&G, Discover, Johnson & Johnson, GE. For sure some companies, but nothing major. Like Netflix, that's gonna move the market. Johnson & Johnson, not so much. But yeah, we're full-fledged in earnings. Next week will be bigger. There'll be some bigger companies reporting. So some airlines reporting tomorrow, Friday. Got like some credit card companies, some banks. But next week will get crazy. Three minutes till the open. It will be more aggressive, but if we get a bullish bar here, I think I'm going to have to take that risk. EMA keeps holding. This is really the first time that we've tested the EMA, so I'll probably take a bull bar here. Hey Toad, morning. Again, this would be more aggressive if it sets up. Nope, bear bar. NQ starting to look like it's popping above the EMA. I like the action over here a little bit better. Again, just need to see one little move up and then that second test, and we can get along on NQ. Wow, 18 bucks a month for the basic plan on Netflix. That's crazy. Don't do us like that, Netflix. We just want to watch some shows. Not a lot of money, you know? Possibly getting another chance here on ES. Get a good close on this bar, I'll take it. Right at the open too, this will be fun. Again, this will be more aggressive. There we go. Right on the market open, but yeah, EMA is holding. We've had an uptrend. Chances are pretty good that we get one more little push up. And there is the opening bell. We'll look to trail out if we get that new high. Wow, super volatile this morning. As I mentioned, this is more aggressive, so when you have more aggressive trades, you have to be ready for them to lose. But yeah, now we officially do have two legs down of this bearish correction. Right here and right here. So if we get a bounce here, I'll set up a really nice long. Still haven't popped up above the EMA. Nasdaq showing quite a bit of strength here. And shoot, I was just getting my order ready, and look at that, it already worked out. So if you were watching the Nasdaq, beauty of a trade there. Exactly what I was drawing out earlier, that we get a push above the EMA and then the higher low. There it is. Worked out very nicely, but it happened quick, so you had to be quick on that one. Yeah, I'm looking at a higher low as well, Tom. Nasdaq is just still taking off. This is crazy. Not getting that higher low, and we are seeing a major divergence between the two markets here. You'll see the S&P broke this channel, has not made a new high yet. Meanwhile, the Nasdaq shot up to a new high. So waiting for the correction here from NQ. Might take ES with it. Hey, good morning, Fernando. Make sure to like the stream, guys, while you're coming in. Would appreciate that support. All right, we're getting that correction on NQ right now. So I would probably hold off on an ES long, as NQ is correcting and S&P is struggling to get above the EMA. So yeah, not looking good for ES here. Good morning, Spivey. Good to see you today. ES looking heavy. Looks like it wants to drop off. There is a lot of support here. I'll give you that, Tom. I'll give you that. But as we can see, we're making lower and lower highs, right? Here's the high on ES. This went a little lower. This went a little lower. This went a little lower. So clearly sellers are involved here. But on the flip side, if you do break through that, it'll be a pretty swift move up, but you're gonna have to play the breakout. And now we are really funneling into a wedge here. So I'd be really careful here, guys. Let this thing play out. We could get a big move one way or the other. Market is compressing, and it was very volatile on the open, so there's a lot of activity there. When you get a lot of activity and you compress it in a very tiny spot, it will be explosive. So be careful here. We're about to get an explosive move, I would say. All right, starting to break out the bottom of this thing, but be careful, this can reverse. Oftentimes that's what you get with these wedge patterns. You'll see a breakout in one direction and then boom, it'll shoot up the other side. So watch out for that. Could definitely happen. Over on NQ, kind of a cluster here. Was waiting for a correction after that uptrend played out, and we're just getting some consolidated price action. So coil is winding up there as well. Golden Man asking, what is was overall my bias today? Look, that's very hard to tell your overall bias when the market just opened. You need to see some more information. Like, we don't know if it's going to be a trend day or not. Usually within, about 30-45 minutes, you can tell kind of what the character of the day is going to be, and you can get a clear picture of the bias. But right off the open, very hard to tell. All we know is that we've gapped up, right? That's all we know. But in order to determine today's bias, there's a couple clues. One would be the closest high that we have that just got broke is right here. So watch this, right? If we come down here and get below this high and start confirming below, we're not going to have a bullish trend. But if we can stay above that, much more favorable. Golden Man says that makes sense in such conditions. Any conditions. Every day when the market opens, you don't really know the bias. You have to let prices do some stuff. So many overnight moves get reversed. Yeah, just don't trust the overnight action to try to determine your bias. You need to see what happens in the New York session. Again, like, even just 30 minutes is very helpful for starting to get an idea of how the market's moving and where it might go. We're getting a wedge forming on NQ2. Really not a great pattern for trading after we've already had this uptrend play out. So yeah, I'd be sitting on my hands on NQ. Starting to look a little bit more favorable on ES. I'd want to see us get out of this congestion and then retest it. So if we can continue this breakout, maybe get like a breakout pullback right here, I'd be interested in that. And if we can get a uptrend today, we have a lot of empty space. Here's kind of zoomed out, right? This is that most recent unbroken high. It's from like December 26th or something. And then the next one is not until up here, and there's also an unfilled gap, and then this is the all-time high. So between where we're at right now And this next level, we have a ton of space. This thing can really get running. 32 points with basically nothing in the way to stop it. But right now we're headed back into that little range. Kind of like this for a breakout pullback, guys. This can close on its high. I may consider buying this. See how this bar finishes. Could also be a double high or low. Nope, not happening. Not happening. Ooh, I like that bar. Pretty big, but our risk reward is still there if we're playing it to the high. So just need to see it close on its high though. Yeah, no dice. Closed back in the middle, more or less a doji. We're also getting a double top lower high on NQ. You can see here's the high. We got a lower high right here. It is kind of steadily working its way up. We may have a secondary channel that's active on NQ. This looks pretty reasonable. Look at this massive bar on ES. Jeez Louise. Can't risk that. It's 3.5 points. You're not getting that to the high. If it comes back though, maybe we can get a limit order. Alright, this little uptrend looks like it may have 2 legs already. We had to move up, we had a break, we had a new high. This may be where we correct. Still looking for a long, that would be preferable. But we need a pattern to trade it. Right now we don't have that. NQ is very close to filling that gap. Only 20 points or so away from the gap fill. Yeah, again, no real pattern to trade right here, unfortunately. Here we go. There's the push up on ES. Like it's headed for that high. And again, just no real way to trade that, unfortunately. We knew it was coming. We knew that new high was inbound, but no real way to get in on it. Man, oh man. Yeah, I mean, I guess the one way we could have traded that is taking this massive bar. As I said, I was looking for that breakout retest, and I would have taken that right here if it was a smaller bar. This thing is, gosh, again, you'd have to risk almost 4 points. Yeah, could have looked at a limit order here, but at that point you had 2 legs up, so that's all hindsight to me. Like, I would have been really disappointed if I would have taken this long bar up here and then gotten stopped out. So it is what it is. You're not going to get every move in the market. And yeah, the sooner that you can come to terms with that, the more profitable you'll be, I promise. The people who are like trying to get every little movement of the market are the ones who are going to end up over trading and be like, man, I just need to be disciplined and stick to a system. So yeah, even the best traders in the entire world do not get every move. Some traders, in fact, will take like 3 trades a year. They literally wait all year for golden opportunities. Take a couple of those and that's it. So patience is the name of the game, ladies and gentlemen. NQ, we're really liking this uptrend. This looks nice now. We're hitting that gap fill. So the question earlier about what's the bias today, what we're about to see is going to be very critical in determining the bias, because right now here on the S&P, this uptrend is technically over. We had to move up, we had a break, we had a new high. Technically that uptrend is over for now. Now what happens next is going to be very critical, because the sellers are going to get a chance to try to push the market down. So the question is, how far do they get? If we get a little wimpy push down that has its own 2 legs and then we push back up, now I'm looking at, okay, this is going to be a bullish bias for the day. On the other hand, if we come down here, start working on that, that changes things. And then that would be more of a range day. So this is really a critical moment for the market once we see this bearish correction. How deep will it go? And how strong will it look? Well, look, for some people there are 10 to 15 trades a day. It really depends on your style, you know. Now, I haven't really met anyone that consistently takes 15 trades a day and does well. But I'm not going to write it off and say that, like, oh, just because you take a bunch of trades means you're not successful. I'm sure there's people out there, micro scalpers or something, that are taking 15 trades a day. I've never met them. Most successful traders I know take very few trades per day, and sometimes even, like I said, per year. In Q, we are in the same kind of scenario where this is really up to this correction kind of to determine the course of the day. Are we going to get a big steep correction that starts to break on the other side of the channel, or are we going to kind of float down here and then push up again? If we get this, we're bullish on the day. If we get the other, we're going to have to switch bias. TDL asking, do I take more trades in the morning or later when I leave for Discord? I get usually like 1 to 2 trades a day. I can't really determine when that's going to be. Sometimes it's in the morning, sometimes it's in the afternoon. You know, that's how it is with trading. Like, you have to wait for the setup to appear. You don't know when that's going to happen, unless you're trading a very specific time-based strategy. But again, I don't really know anyone who does that. Now you could trade like a range breakout, right, which is set to occur at a specific time, but even that you have to wait for confirmation, so it could like happen much later than the actual range that you're trading, if that makes sense. So I can't predict when the setup is going to happen. Sometimes it's in the morning, sometimes it's the afternoon. I'm just ready for whenever it does happen. Golden Man saying, know someone who does micro scalping, but it's a headache. Yeah, definitely a headache. I would agree. Usually those people that are micro scalping have an inverse risk to reward, so they're risking a lot for a tiny reward. And so what happens is, if you get a loss, all of a sudden you have to take 20 trades to get back into the green. So then you're always like digging yourself out of a hole. I don't know. Different strokes for different folks. You just have to make sure that whatever you trade actually has a mathematical edge. That's the big thing. I see so many people focusing on psychology or whatever, like, oh man, I just saying vague things like, I just need to be more consistent. Well, okay, that's great, but at the end of the day, if a robot were to take your exact setup every time it appears on the chart, would it actually be profitable? Does it have a mathematical edge? And what I have found is, with most people, it does not. Most people do not, or they don't know. Most people don't even know if they have a mathematical edge, and you have to have it. You have to have it. No matter what strategy you trade, the math has to be in your favor. And if you don't know that for certain, you are going to struggle mightily. Alrighty, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. As I was just saying, this is going to be the determiner of the day, and so far, the bears are stepping up nicely. We'll see if this has any follow through to the downside, or if buyers are active. So far, it's a nice bounce back. NQ back above the EMA, and I like a higher low on the NQ if it happens. Looking for that higher low. Nice bounce back on ES. We're back above the EMA. So far, buyers stepping up nicely. Come on, baby. Let's get that higher low. ES has moved up pretty high for the higher low at this point. But need to see some action down at the EMA to get a trade here. With how high it's moved up, I would prefer come down once more like this. Okay, NQ is coming down. Let's see how the EMA holds. It's going to be a really big bar. I prefer to probably get it on the next one. Okay, let's see if this next bar can dip below and then close bullish. So far an inside bar, not great. Risk to rewards off now. We'd have to risk 21 points. And we'd only get 12 to get to that high. Hey BJ, good morning. Are we long all day today? We'll find out, won't we? The price action will let us know. So far, yes, it is looking like it's going to be an uptrend for the day. This was a pretty big moment in the market to see if the sellers could push down after we had 2 legs up of that uptrend, and so far they haven't. So it is looking like possible trend day today. Certainly not looking for a short, I'll say that. We'll only be looking for a long. Nasdaq has not made that new high yet. Golden Man asking what news did we have at 10 a.m. to smash it down. I don't see anything getting smashed. I mean, we had a couple bearish candles, but that's if you think that's getting smashed, buckle your seatbelts for this year. It's going to be a bumpy ride for you. Yes, we'll start looking for a larger channel now. We'll have to let it develop, but yeah, I'm thinking we'll end up getting something like this. Thank you, BJ. I appreciate that. And it wasn't always that way, man. That's really been the key to my success. I used to jump in all sorts of stuff till I realized, shoot, man, I am losing money. I have to, and if I want to continue at all, I have to be patient. I hope everyone has that realization someday too. Of it, it's not just like, oh man, I should be more patient, but no, I have to. Your success entirely depends on you being able to be patient for the right setups. Hey, Trader Brain. Good to have you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. If you are digging the content, getting anything of value, I just ask that you like this. That's all. Just like the stream. Also, any evals that you purchase with my code, that all goes back into the channel. So, yeah, ways that you can support. I appreciate it, guys. Hey, Kelly, welcome. Yeah, look, the strategy to pass evals is just that. It's a little trick to get through evals, but if you are not consistently profitable, there's really no reason to do it, to be honest. You're just going to get a funded account, and then you'll end up blowing that funded account. So better than just passing evals, I would recommend you really focus on the process, focus on trading. Try to get to where you can trade green for several months in a row, like where you can count on it. That's when you should start to try to think about getting funded. So yeah, see a lot of people just chasing those funded accounts and all that. It's just going to lead to disappointment if you're not confident in your trading abilities now. You're not going to magically get trading abilities once you get a funded account, I promise. Judy, I would say that that's not a problem with evals. That's anytime there's something on the line. You know, the transition from doing like sim, where you're just straight sim trading, to anything else, whether that's a personal account with real money or an eval where you have the chance to get a funded account, or if you do pass and you are in a funded account, it changes your mentality. That's why it's so important to build up slowly. Like, start out after sim, you should be going to like one micro contract, whether it's in a personal account or an eval or whatever it is, one micro, and just slowly build up. You're trying to train your brain to execute in a way that is not controlled by your emotions. Okay, so very clear that we have a bullish trend. Hope that is obvious to everyone. I'm going to be looking for longs every time we pull back to the EMA. Old man, and I don't think there's anything magical about 126.75, but yes, we are due for a retracement at some point. Anytime the market goes up, it will retrace eventually. So that's all we're waiting on. Ed, good morning. I really hope you're you're joking. I'm gonna suppose with the 22 contracts that is a joke. Yeah, don't try to predict a market top, people. That is a major lesson, or a bottom. If the market's going up, you want to get long. If it's going down, you want to get short. Don't try to outsmart the market. Join it. Join me. I am your father. All right, NQ is coming back to the moving average. I do not like how it didn't go to the top of the channel here. It would have been much better if we would have gone all the way up here before pulling back. Never want to see a growing distance in the top of the channel. By the way, are you guys' channel doing this where all of a sudden it's not showing the color right here anymore? Like, look at this thing. If I zoom out, it shows it, but if I zoom in, it doesn't. It's really weird. I just recently updated to the new NinjaTrader, so I don't know if that's a bug in this new version. All right, big correction here. Looking like we might have might be rounding off. Because again, pardon me, got this increased space at the top. Could be rounding off. Not looking that great for a long here. Not getting that on the S&P yet, but we'll see. So enlighten us, Golden Man. What is it about 126.75 that is so magical? Trying to identify a larger trend here. NQ pushing back above the moving average. We get a higher low, I'll take that. All right, NQ not above moving average, can't take that. ES looks ready for a correction. That bar closed below the moving average, can't take it. Looking for a larger correction here on ES. Get something like this, and then if we push up, then we can get along somewhere in here. Just want this bearish correction to play out. One area to watch is what was the overnight high, where we had that breakout. If we can hold that area, which is 6119 and a quarter, if we hold that, our bullish bias remains. Trying to get back above the moving average. Getting rejected though. Again, looking for this downtrend to play out. If we get something like this, that'd be great, and then bounce up. That's when I'd start to be looking for a long. It's trying here. It's trying. Good morning, gaming. Okay, if we get a higher low above the EMA, I'll look to take that. Actually, you know what? No, not yet. I do want to see two legs of this bearish correction with how high up we are here. NQ pushing above its moving average here. I'll also take a higher low there. We get a really nice one. Thank you, Judy. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Doesn't cost anything, guys, to give a little click on the thumbs up, that's for sure. Ooh, look at that higher low. That's pretty tempting, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm gonna hold off though. And that's why I'm waiting to get that second leg down of that correction. Closing below the moving average while the Nasdaq is closing above. A little bit of a divergence here. See which one wins out. My money would be on a second correction here to the downside. Which would actually be preferred. Because again, the bias is bullish, so we want to see corrections play out with two legs and then get a push up. So that's exactly what I'm looking for. A little break out of this congestion. I gotta be patient here, guys. There's no trade. Dueling icebergs. Take that, dueling banjos. Yeah, I think it's going to be a minute before we get that set up. Again, we are bullish for the day unless we get a major move down out of here and below the breakout level. But right now, your bias should be to the upside. Just looking for a bear trend to play out and then a push back above the EMA. So that's what I'm looking for. I think that's going to be a minute before it sets up. But when it does, could have a decent trade, and on a day like today, you might even be able to ride it for a long time. So I'm gonna switch over to Discord, guys. It's been real being back with you today. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Trade safe out there, and we'll see the I Am Trading team over in the Discord. Peace and love, everyone. See you next time.